Hi, and welcome back to another beautiful guide that I have put in my free container. But also, I just wanted to pre-record this and have it there as a space that mums can come back to, that I can come back to, that can be reused and reshared, because there has been such a good sort of response to mums telling me they want to save some of these resources to reuse or continue to have in their sort of pocket for later on. So I thought if I recorded this, that might be super, super helpful. It might give some more support and understanding to others. And yeah, it won't be a long one, but it's just a beautiful little drop in and body scan. And this is how we can bring awareness into our body about where the emotions are stored in our nervous system and in our body, which sometimes creates that reactivity or that overwhelm. And it really links into other videos that I've done around nervous system regulation. First, you need to really have awareness of what is happening in your body. That is why knowledge is power and education is key, because once we start to identify where these things land in our body and where it feels and what we're feeling and can label an emotion, we can then identify where in our body we feel that. And you may have heard me in other videos, or if you've listened to my podcast or you're in any of my coaching spaces, talk about when I can identify that I feel the volcano rising in my body. And I often say, Mummy's volcano's coming, Mummy needs to reset her energy, or Mummy needs a moment alone. Like having that awareness and that identification of how you're feeling, and then modeling that to your child. So that can really have a conscious impact on their emotional well-being as well. So what we spoke about in my free container a lot this week was having that awareness of the body scanning, where in the nervous system that energy lays, because what I feel isn't going to be the same as what you feel. So today, what we're going to do is just bring to your awareness a few questions. I want you to take a big deep breath with me first and see where that lands. And then once we see where that lands, we can start to identify and really just hold these questions within us and what they feel like. So the first one is, what am I feeling right now? I want you to use these tools in that moment where you're feeling overwhelmed, anxious, reactive, whatever it might be that's happening. As you know, we are calm within the chaos, so life is chaotic. How can we bring in a little bit more calm for us? So, what are you feeling right now? Saving this resource, like some of the mums have done in the written form, can really be a great tool to reflect on later on, or just have there as a reminder for other times. So if that's something that you're needing, just shoot me up and shoot me up, hit me up in the DMs or wherever you're seeing this, maybe in the comments, and I can link you into our free or maybe one of my paid coaching containers. And we can work on this together, and I can send you some free resources that might really help you through this. However, as I said, some mums have saved this already from my free container, which I absolutely love, because that's what it is about, keeping these tools ongoingly, and using them how it suits you in your life and what's happening in your day-to-day life. So, um, in those moments of chaos, I want you to think, what am I feeling right now? Take a deep breath, step aside and say, what am I feeling right now? Um, Am I calm? Am I irritated? Am I anxious? Am I overstimulated? Am I overwhelmed? Am I feeling flat? The other day I was feeling quite flat and I kept saying, I don't really have the energy today. Has something made me feel sad? Am I tired? Imagine when we start to label these emotions and bring awareness to ourselves about what we're feeling and what event, noise, trigger, whatever it is that's happening, whether it be at work or in your family home. Maybe it's a colleague that you don't get along with. Maybe the mornings are loud and chaotic and messy. And I know myself this morning, I sort of did kind of get a bit reactive and I was a bit like, oh, everything's so loud. We have pet parrots. You'll hear me bring them up often. I tend to find sometimes I can shut them out and other times they really trigger me. It's a lot of loud, like sudden loud noise when they just do like a out of nowhere loud squawk and I'm like, oh. Um, so I identify in my body that that overstimulates me and overwhelms me. Um, because in the moment, I'm like making breakfast, I'm making a cuppa, I'm getting the kids' shoes tied up, we're making sure the bag has the lunch bag in it. My brain just feels busy and I'm not quite switched on yet. I'm not quite awake yet, but I'm already sort of rushing around. And I did find myself this morning getting a little snappy. So I started to identify out loud, okay, I feel really overstimulated. I've just snapped at everyone, not in like a really bad way, but I'm like, shoes off. Like you sort of start to feel yourself sounding like a army commando yelling out instructions, and that can be overwhelming, not just for yourself then, but the child. So we're identifying how we feel. I've said, I'm feeling overwhelmed right now. I don't feel like I'm quite like switched on yet, and everything feels loud in my like I keep holding my ears because I know that's where it starts, but it then moves to like my chest and my stomach, and I'm like, oh, I can feel it happening. So the next question is, and as I just identified, I know where I feel it in my body. So I want you to start saying to yourself after you've asked, what am I feeling? And you've labeled what you're feeling. Where can I feel this in my body? Does it feel tight in my jaw? Does it feel tight in my shoulders, in my chest, in my stomach, in my throat, my head, my ears, my hands? Maybe it's whole body pain. That's another thing as well. If you don't know me, I do have chronic pain condition. And right now, I've been experiencing lots of pain in different parts of my body that I hadn't felt before. So that's been rather challenging as well. So that can be kind of overstimulating when your body's and just stressful when your body's not quite awake yet in the morning. And so you might be feeling it in your whole body. There's other things going on in our if you were in my last round of my free container, we talked about our emotional cup and being in overflow. So sometimes for me in the morning, I'm not underwhelmed, I'm not overwhelmed, but I'm kind of overflowing for everybody. As one mum identified yesterday in our free container that this tool of having a body scan and awareness is really good for her because not only in her adult life, in her work life, but also in her mum life and in her home life, she is sort of the emotional carrier for everyone, which I think most of the time we do become that, right? Um, so she's really utilizing these tools and saving them in all aspects of life, which I love. It's not just mum life, but it's how can I react to a family member, a friend, a colleague, when I'm out in public and that car pulls in front of me and I want to react, but I don't really need to, I can let it go. Like those little moments in life where we feel like we need to react to everything and panic over everything and be snappy about things, we can maybe identify why we felt that way and how can we move forward. So the next question I want you to be able to identify is what do I need right now? Now, this takes time if it's new to you to start implementing consistently. And the more and more you sort of do that mindset, like in your mind's eye, you just are having this kind of quick conversation with yourself. Not like a crazy person walking down the street talking to yourself, just a quick little like internal check-in. So do I need some space right now? Now, obviously, I explained this morning I was feeling a bit like, oh, um, and I can't go and take quiet space and time out when I've got to rush them off to school. But I did reset the energy by having a hug with each child and going, I know that I was just a bit snappy then, but I really love you and I really want you to have a good day. Let's move forward. And I sort of just, that hug It resets and connects them with safety and nurture and love, but it also can be really regulating for yourself and for them if you're a hugger. I know some people are not like touchy, huggy people, but a hug can really just reset the energy for your child and for yourself. And that reconnection really repairs after that snap moment. So, and it really can bring you back down to a regulated space, which I did find myself doing this morning. I found that I kind of went from snappy to regulated really quickly because I was able to check in with myself and really go, I don't want to yell at you this morning. I don't want to, pardon me, bark instructions out to you. So I really wanted to reconnect and repair. Um, it's so important that if we are a family that send our children to school and they're not homeschooling with us or whatever your environment looks like, or maybe they're older children, they go off to a job, that you've repaired with them before they leave the home, so that connection stays solid. So a hug was what worked for us this morning. And obviously they had their breakfast and a drink of water, so food, hydration can really help. So space, time, a quiet hug, water movement, ask for support. If you're really in a space where you're struggling, please reach out and ask for help and support so I can give you more tools and more knowledge and really help you to carry yourself forward out of that. Now, this one might be one that people don't really realize, but sometimes you need to have a cry. The longest time I'd be like, oh my God, I'm such a crier, like I'm oversensitive, but it's actually a really healthy emotional release. So, now of course, I love to say just take some breaths, do 4 by 4 or 5 by 5 or 6 by 6, whatever you feel you need in that moment can be great. Um, Maybe it's to say no or use some of my energy shift resources guides where it's like you need to shift the moment and the energy on the fly, because kids are busy and loud, as I said, and always moving, and you don't always have the time in that moment to regulate. Sometimes it can be a quick shake off, a quick dance off. So that's where movement can really come into play. And sometimes your language is the reset and the reframe, um, and how you talk to yourself. So I've got lots of guides in my coaching around that and also in my free group about different ways to move and shift energy and reset in the moment. But just really identifying what is it you need and then being able to implement that tool and strategy. So I hope that was a quick little tool to help you. In the next episode, I'm going to actually do a guided sort of body scan. It's more of a meditative state, so it's not something you're going to be doing on the fly, as a parent when you're busy, because you may not have the time to, sort of stop and meditate, but it might be a really helpful tool to come back to when you do have a little space and time to reset or take a moment to just breathe and, give yourself some calm and quiet. I really want you to nurture yourself in that emotional capacity too. I always talk about nourishing your body to help it keep it regular. Pardon me, nourishing your body to help keep it regulated physically with like good food and good nutrition. But we really need to nourish our body mentally and emotionally because we are the cognitive load, we are the mental load, we are the emotional load for everyone in our world so often. So I hope these tools were sort of helpful to help you understand what the body scan is about. And stay tuned for my guided meditation. Thank you for tuning in.